Hello everyone, welcome to the first session of device registration series, where we are going to cover everything related to device registration and troubleshooting device registration complex scenarios. If you don't know me, my name is Mohammed Zmaili, and my goal is to make identity learning and troubleshooting easier. In this session, I'll be walking you through what is device registration join types, and what is the recommended join type. Also, I'll be walking you through what is primary refresh token, and finally, I'll be covering some basic troubleshooting scenarios. So let's get started. Firstly, we need to understand, why do users need to connect their devices to Azure Active Directory? Well, there are multiple reasons of connecting devices to Azure Active Directory, and I'll be covering the most important ones. The most important feature that users are going to have on their registered devices is single sign-on experience, which means all they need to do is to sign in once, and after that, they will be having the access to all their resources without the need to re-entering their credentials again. Admins will be able to control the access to cloud resources from managed or trusted devices using conditional access policy. Also, they will be able to manage the registered devices using mobile device management like Intune. And end users will be able to have the ability to configure passwordless authentication on their registered devices like Windows Hello for Business, IDO2, or phone sign-in. Also, end users will be able to have the ability to use enterprise state roaming feature, which means users' profiles are going to follow them on their registered devices. And users will be able to use BitLocker to encrypt their devices, and the BitLocker recovery key will be stored on Azure Active Directory computer objects so that they can recover them when needed. Let's go through device registration join types. The first join type is Azure AD Registered, and this is for bring your own device and for mobile devices. In this join type, users will be able to unlock their devices using local credentials, and also they will be able to have single sign-on experience to cloud services. And in this join type, admins can control the access to cloud services using conditional access policies if those devices are enrolled and compliant to Intune and using app protection policy. End users will be able to use phone sign-in using Microsoft Authenticator application on mobile devices. The supported operating systems for Azure AD Registered are Windows 10 and above, iOS, Mac OS, and Android. The second join type is Hybrid Azure AD Join. With Hybrid Azure AD Join, devices being joined to the local Active Directory, and after configuring Auto Hybrid Azure AD Join, they will be extended to Azure Active Directory. Local Active Directory is the primary authority for the authentication for Hybrid Azure AD Join because devices already joined to the local Active Directory, and users can have single sign-on experience for both cloud resources and on-prem resources as well. In this join type, admins can control the access to cloud services using conditional access policies if the devices are enrolled and compliant to Intune policies, or if they are just fully registered to Azure Active Directory. Supported operating systems are Windows 10 and above, Windows Server 2016 and above, and for down-level devices, Hybrid Azure AD Join is supported for Windows Server 28, 28R2, Windows Server 2012, 2012 R2, and Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 after installing Auto Workplace Join. Third join type is Azure AD Join. This is the recommended join type, and in this join type, Azure Active Directory is the primary authority for authentication. Both cloud-only users and synchronized users can sign in to Azure AD Join devices. And also single sign-on experience is available for both cloud services and also on-prem resources. In this join type, conditional access policies is available, which means admins can control the access to cloud services using conditional access policies if the devices are enrolled and compliant to Intune policies. Users can use self-service password reset and Windows Hello for Business as passwordless authentication. The supported operating systems are Windows 10 and above, except Home editions, and also Windows Server 2019 data center version virtual machine that is running on Azure Active Directory platform. This table summarizes what we've discussed about regarding all device registration join types. There are multiple things should be taken into our consideration when it comes to device registration. The first thing is device registration doesn't require any special license. As long as you have Azure Active Directory, users can connect their devices to Azure Active Directory, whatever the join type is. Dual state means the same device connected to Azure Active Directory twice. The first one as Azure AD Registered, second one as hybrid Azure AD Joined. With dual state, the same computer object is going to have two entities, which may cause an issues in authenticating against Azure Active Directory. This has been addressed and fixed with Windows 10 1803 with this particular AP applied. Azure AD Registered and Azure AD Join being registered and connected to Azure Active Directory under user context, which means the user himself needs to start this registration and he needs to enter his credentials there. Not like hybrid Azure AD Join for current devices like Windows 10 and Windows Server 2016 and above, where they being connected to Azure Active Directory under system context without any user interaction. For Windows down level hybrid Azure AD Join devices like Windows 7, Windows 8.1, those devices being registered under user context, which means the user himself needs to perform this registration. There are some unsupported scenarios like domain controller for hybrid Azure AD Join is not supported. Windows down level devices using credential roaming or user profile roaming or mandatory profiles for hybrid Azure AD Join. Also, Windows Server Core is not supported. And if we are using user state migration tool, this is not supported for device registration as well. Now let's go through primary refresh token. Primary refresh token or PRT being issued on a registered and healthy device. For both hybrid Azure AD Join and Azure AD Join, PRT being issued by Cloud AP plugin during Windows sign-in. For Azure AD Registered, PRT being issued by WAM or Web Account Manager plugin once a user adds his account or her account to Windows. This can be done in two different ways. The first one, if the user went to Settings, Accounts, Access Work or School and clicked on Connect. Or the second way, by opening one of Office Pro Plus applications and choose Allow my organization to manage my device option. PRT being issued in two different ways. The first one is using Cloud AP plugin every 4 hours and during Windows logon. The second one is using WAM plugin during app token acquisition. And PRT is valid for 14 days, which means if it didn't renew during 14 days, it will be invalid. And PRT is unique for every single authentication method, which means if I unlocked my device using password, I'll be getting a PRT which is different than the PRT that is I'm getting if I unlocked my device using Windows Hello for Business. Now let's go through basic troubleshooting steps. To verify Azure AD registered state, we need to go to Azure Active Directory computer object and we should see the join type is Azure AD registered. Also, we should see there is an owner for Azure AD registered devices because as we mentioned, this join type being triggered under user context, which means being performed by the user himself. Also, we should see registered date and time populated under registered column. If we went to the Windows device and we run dsregcmd status output, we should see work account count equals 1. Also on the mobile device, if we open Microsoft Authenticator application, we should see the device currently is registered with this particular UPN, which is the user who performed this registration. And also we should see the device ID. For hybrid Azure AD join, in Azure Active Directory computer object, the join type should be hybrid Azure AD join. And here there is no owner because for hybrid Azure AD join, device registration being done under system context. So there is no owner here. And also registered date and time should be populated under registered column. If we went to the device and we run dsrich-cmd status command, we should see the device is domain joined, yes, and Azure AD join, which means it's connected to both local Active Directory and Azure AD. So this confirms its hybrid device. For Azure AD joined, if we went to Azure Active Directory device object, we should see Azure AD joined as a join type, and we're going to see an owner because this join type being performed by a user. And also we should see date and time under registered column. And if we went to the computer itself and we run dsrich-cmd/status command, we should see Azure AD joined equal yes. Additionally, we can use dsrich tool to troubleshoot the most common device registration issues and to verify the health status for our devices. That's it for this session. Thank you for watching and see you in the next session.